Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today we are going to study the immunity, the immune system. What is immune system? Immune system is our body defense mechanism against the various pathogens which causing various diseases in our body. And these pathogens are named as bacteria, viruses, protozoans and some other various pathogens. So immunity, the first of all we divided immunity in two categories, the innate immunity and the acquired immunity. The innate immunity is non-specific, whereas the acquired immunity is developed by exposure of some organisms by some pathogens. The innate immunity is by birth, and the innate immunity is present since birth. Whereas acquired immunity developed after the exposure of microorganisms. The innate immunity is divisible into the physical barriers and the antimicrobial proteins, which includes the innate immunity. The immune cells, which play important roles in the innate immunity, and the immune cells are making a bridge between the innate and adaptive immunity. The inflammation and finally the fever. We are discussing in detail one by one. First of all, we are going to discuss the physical barriers. The physical barriers are the skin and mucus. Our skin consists of major three layers: the epidermis, the dermis, beneath the epidermis, the dermis, and third one is the subcutaneous. In epidermis, various glands are present, just like the scent glands, mammary glands, sweat glands, and oil glands are sebaceous glands. The sweat glands contains the salty lysozymes, especially in summer when we perspire, we secrete the salty lysozymes, which contains the enzymes. The enzymes, and these enzymes kill the bacteria and viruses or other pathogens. The second gland present in the skin is the oil glands. The oil glands also contain the antimicrobial fatty acids. The antimicrobial fatty acids which kill the bacteria and viruses. Skin also contains some cells, and one of the cells is the dendritic cells. The dendritic cells, which are also known as the Langerhans cells, because they discovered by a scientist Paul Langerhans. The dendritic cells are the antigen presenting cells. They are the antigen presenting cells, also they are the phagocytes. And they are present in skin, in suprabasal and basal epidermis of our skin, the dendritic cells are present. In addition to the skin, they are present in liver, spleen, blood, lymph and lymph nodes and other body tissues. The dendritic cells are present. They are working. What is their function? Their function is the phagocytic. They are the phagocytes. Phagocytes mean they phagy. Phagy mean eating or eat, and cytes means cells. Eating cells. They eat or they phagocyte the microorganisms. Microorganisms. Bacteria or viruses. They engulf. And dendritic cells are these are the dendritic cells because they have the branches, because dendritic means the branches. The dendritic cells engulf the microorganisms and kill the microorganisms, and they have some lysozyme enzymes which diffuses into the bacterial viruses. They are ingest in their cytoplasm. And they are also the antigen presenting cells, which are we will discuss later in adaptive immunity. These are this is the skin, and the second one is the mucus. The mucus cells are present in the epithelial lining of the respiratory system, respiratory tract, gastrointestinal tract, urinary tract, reproductive tract, also present in our nose and pharynx. And nose and pharynx are also part of the respiratory system, the respiratory tract. So these are the epithelial lining of the mucus cells. They secrete mucus, and mucus entrap the microorganisms, entrap the bacteria or viruses, etc. So these are the physical barriers, skin and mucus. And next we are going to study the antimicrobial proteins. The antimicrobial proteins contains some chemical substances and some proteins which are present in blood. In our blood, more than a dozen proteins are present, and they are the antimicrobial. For example, some proteins, this is a bacteria or a fungus cell, and when this is the wall of the bacterial cell, the antimicrobial protein, when touches the cell wall of the bacteria, create a hole. It creates a hole in bacterial cell. The water rushes into the cell by osmosis, and finally the bacteria become burst out. The bacteria is burst out. So these antimicrobial proteins kill the bacteria or fungus. In addition to this, a second antimicrobial protein are the interferons. Interferons are the groups of antiviral substances. They have three types, or actually type 1, type 2 and type 3, alpha, beta and gamma interferons, which we completely discuss in the later video. But here interferons are the antiviral substances. Basically they are proteins, and when a virus attack our normal human cell, the virus entering our RNA or DNA into our cell, the genes present inside our nucleus in DNA, it is activated and form the interferons. And this RNA, this viral RNA activate the gene of the normal cell present in nucleus and making interferons. These interferons diffuses out and approaches to the neighboring cells. The neighboring cells has the interferon receptors, and when these interferons bind to these receptors, these normal cells preparing or making some antiviral enzymes. These are the protein kinase enzymes, and the other one is the which inhibit the RNA or DNA synthesis and protein synthesis. These are the enzymes which are preparing in these normal cells. These are the antiviral substances. So interferons are the antimicrobial proteins which inhibit the microorganisms. Again, the second one is the inflammation. No, sorry, the immune cells. The immune cells are the leukocytes. Leukocytes. Leuko mean white, cytes cells. These are the white cells, and they are usually conformably present in blood. So these are the white blood cells. These are the white blood cells. Here we discuss the three types of cells. Number one, macrophages, neutrophils, and natural killer cells. The fourth one is the dendritic cell, as we discussed here. The macrophages, neutrophils, and natural killer cells. Macrophages are born in the hematopoietic stem cells present in bone marrow. The dendritic cells are also born in from the stem cells. Neutrophils also originate from the stem cells, and natural killer cells are also born from the stem cells in the bone marrow. After their origin, they come in, the macrophages come in blood. But in addition to the blood, they are also present in liver, lymph nodes, spleen, and other body tissues like the dendritic cells. And also neutrophils, they are present blood and other parts of the cells. Also natural killer cells, they are also present in blood and other part of the tissues. The macrophages are the phagocytic cells. They are the phagocytes, like the dendritic cells. They are the big eater, actually macro mean big, phages, phagy mean to eat, big eaters. These are the big eaters. Actually they are the phagocytes. They ingest the microorganism, bacteria and other microorganisms and kill them. Neutrophils, they also inhibit or kill the cells, but they have the phagocytic activity. Neutrophils also produces some chemicals. Natural killer cells, they do not attack microorganisms directly, but when a cell is infected, if a cell is infected with a virus or other microorganisms or a cancer cell, because cancer cell is not a normal cell, it is the cancer cells has the part of the tumor and mutational cells actually. So natural killer cells secrete some chemicals. Natural killer cells secrete some chemicals, and these chemicals creating hole in infected cells. This is the infective cell. This is the infective cell, and when a hole is creating, the water diffuses into the cell and the cell becomes burst out. When the cell is burst, the microorganisms which infect these cells, and their growth is 100,000 and sometimes millions, they comes out. The microorganisms come out from this bursting cell, this infected cells, and the macrophages and neutrophils ingest and engulf these microorganisms. The macrophages and neutrophils are patrolling in blood normally. When the things are quiet, when the things are quiet, their numbers are very low or normal. But when infection is there, the macrophages increases their number. Actually, they are produces from the monocytes, which are again the white blood cells. So more and more monocytes develop into the macrophages, and more macrophages are there at the site of infection, engulfing the microorganisms. So this is the killing or ingesting process of the immune cells, and macrophages and neutrophils are also making a bridge between the innate and acquired immunity. The next one is the inflammation. Inflammation is also a part of innate immunity. This is the normal cell. When this cell is infected, the microorganisms increase their numbers. Finally, this cell becomes burst or inflamed or ruptured. This ruptured cell membrane, the ruptured cell membrane releases two types of mediators. The one is the prostaglandin, and the second one is the histamine. The histamine and prostaglandin releases from the ruptured or inflamed cell or injured cell. So histamine act on the blood vessels. They dilate. Histamine dilate the capillaries or blood vessels, and due to this dilation, the macrophages and neutrophils come out from the blood vessel into the interstitial spaces, and the microorganisms releases from the infected cells. The macrophages and neutrophils engulf these microorganisms. So histamine has a part of the innate immunity and inflammation, and second one is the more blood circulation in this area, causing redness, and some temperature become rises, because more and more blood circulation is there due to the infection and due to the histamine releases and prostaglandin releases. So temperature rises and redness and also pain is there, and swelling. So inflammation actually triggers the immune response in form of inflammation. Inflammation means the response of the body due to the infection. So these problems are creating, and the microorganisms are more and more engulfing by the macrophages and destroyed. The last one is the fever. The fever is also the part of the innate immunity. The macrophages, when macrophages are activated due to the engulfing of they engulf the microorganisms, they release some chemicals which are known as the pyrogenes. The pyrogenes come in blood and reaches the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is the part of the forebrain, and this is the regulator. Hypothalamus is the thermoregulator. The pyrogenes boost the hypothalamus to increase the temperature because hypothalamus is a thermoregulator, and the temperature rises. The temperature rises from the 98.6 Fahrenheit or 37 degrees centigrade, which is the normal temperature of the human body, and the temperature rises 103 to 105 and more. The 105 temperature is lethal. In addition to, but how this temperature rises? Because hypothalamus sends signals to our muscles to contract and relax, contract, and also signals to the skin where that blood circulation constricts and shivering start. So the blood temperature increases, blood consumes the heat, and the temperature becomes high. And when the fever causes, the bacterial growth inhibit. The bacterial growth inhibit. Why? Because in bacterial growth, they require iron. And when the temperature is high, the iron reduces. Iron reduces in blood. And when the quantity of iron is low in blood, the bacterial growth inhibit or slow down. So this is the benefit of the temperature. So these are the parameters, and these are the substances and various cells and barriers which participate in the innate immunity, and this is all about the innate immunity, and we hope you will learn some things which are important for the innate immunity. You will subscribe my channel Science Today, as well as bell icon and like and share. Thank you very much.